Hey people, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another ranking. Welcome back to another Albums Ranked episode. I'm pretty sure, going off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure we're at number 15 today. So yeah, welcome to episode 15 of the Albums Ranked. Today we're going to tackle the extreme black metal slash Viking pioneers BATHORY. We're going to tackle BATHORY today and their 12 studio albums. There's a couple of compilation albums that get thrown in the mix there, but no, we're not gonna talk about them today. We're just gonna go straight from my least favorite studio album all the way to the favorite studio album, and spanning across 20 years or so. First album coming out in 1984, the last one coming out in 2003. Cawthon, the frontman, lyricist, music person, the BATHORY guy, died in 2004. So that was the end of BATHORY. So yeah, we've got 20 years. We have 12 albums. Without further ado, I say we just get into it. And yeah, before we get started, let me know down below what your favorites are. If you've listened to all of them, rank them in order for me. If you've only listened to a small amount of them, then tell me that too. You know, which one's your number one, which one's your number two. It doesn't matter. Just get a conversation going. You know how it is. All right, cool. So yeah, tiny bit of backstory. BATHORY were formed in Sweden and have basically have sort of the title of pioneer black metal, first wave black metal kings, as well as pioneer Viking metal. They are the first band to release a Viking metal album, and they're also up for speculation of whether or not they released the first black metal album. I have a video debating whether or not BATHORY truly do hold that title, so if you're interested in seeing who invented black metal, go check that out. But if not, carry on. We're just gonna talk about the albums today. There's no controversy, so yeah, that's enough backstory. I think without further ado, let us go straight into it. And kicking off with number 12 is Requiem. Yeah, we're gonna put Requiem dead last at the bottom, purely because, my god, have you heard those drums? I didn't realize that Lars Ulrich from Metallica was a BATHORY fan, because it's the only reason I could think of as to where he got the inspiration for the snare drum sound, because good god, the first song on the Requiem album, the title track, I'm pretty sure, is just that snare drum is just 10 10 10 10 10. It's just like a tin can, and it's just like, it's all over the place. It's just so in your face, and it's very hard to try to listen to anything else while that's going on in your ears. There were like some kind of okay songs, like this is such a weird era for BATHORY. It's almost like a crust punky type era, but it's thrash at the same time. So there was like Prostitution, that's a kind of cool song. It's very this whole album is short. Thank God that this album was short. It's only like 30 minutes long. If this was a 56-minute album like most of BATHORY's other stuff, then it would have been such a mission. I probably would have bailed halfway. But yeah, thankfully it was only half an hour. Prostitution, War Machine, and Apocalypse were the three songs that I took from the album to put onto my shuffle. So yeah, just a quick punk album with a terrible production, really. So yeah, that's why Requiem is last and number 12. Number 11 is the album that comes afterwards, and that is Octagon. Most people put this at the bottom, but honestly, for me, what puts Octagon just a little bit higher on the list than Requiem is the guitar solos. Out of nowhere, like, Cawthon has some pretty amazing moments in BATHORY's career for his guitar playing, but on this album, the solos that randomly come out of no, like, you have like, we've had like 10 albums of BATHORY that we're familiar with, and then there's like this Metallica like wah infused shred going on most of these songs, and it's just like, okay, he's suddenly a shred guitar player. But I mean, you know, I say shred, but I don't mean like Malmsteen shred, obviously. It's just like, it's just faster and more technical than anything that I've ever heard him do on any of the previous albums. But yeah, I mean, aside from that though, the production is still quite rough. The guitar tone is pretty damn it's raw. It's almost raw, but like it's still got a tiny bit of crunch to it. It's definitely a thrash album as opposed to like a melodic black metal album or atmospheric black metal or anything, or even Viking for that matter. It's just definitely so far different than whatever else Bathory have done. A lot of the songs, they kind of all have the same kind of vibe. They all sort of blend together, and that's another reason why this one is so low, because nothing actually stood out to me like to make it different from any other song, if you know what I mean. So like I couldn't tell you the difference between Sociopath and War Supply right now anyway. But yeah, not a lot to go on, just an album that exists, and that is Octagon sitting at number 11. Number 10 is an album that probably doesn't surprise most of you, Destroyer of Worlds. Yeah, this album is interesting. I'm pretty sure it's Bathory's longest album. It's like 65 minutes, and it definitely felt like it. Production-wise, it gets better. Well, the whole album, in a way, is on another level compared to what we've just heard. It's just like, okay, cool. They're kind of getting back to more serious music in a way, but like it's a weird. This album is like a weird transition album, I feel. It's got heavy thrash elements that get thrown in, and then it's also got some weird kind of Viking stuff as well that stands out. Obviously, there's coming off the thrash stuff that was Requiem and stuff, and then what comes after this is like all the Nordic stuff. So you can get why there's both elements in there. Lake of Fire, Destroyer of Worlds, and Ode. Those first three songs are probably the best songs on the album. However, I weirdly liked Death from Above and Kill Kill Kill. I thought that was a cool song. Well, I thought both of them were cool actually. Kill 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 had like this. It was more of a thrash. Both of them, they're like thrashy kind of fillers, you could say. But I mean, they're still really, really good. Liberty and Justice was not a good song, just for the record. Yeah, not my favorite. But yeah, this album stepped up from Octagon, but it's still like down here compared to number 1 being up there. So yeah, number 10 is Destroyer of Worlds. Number 9 is probably going to be an album that might trigger a few of you. Number 9, quite a few people numbers ones, I think, whatever. That's Hammerheart. Yeah, I've put Hammerheart all the way down at number 9. Hear me out, okay? Like, again, so that's Octagon, that's Destroyer of Worlds, and then that's Hammerheart. Okay, Hammerheart is still a great album, and it's good fun to listen to. But compared to the stuff that I like, I do enjoy. I listen to Bathory for the black metal stuff and the dark and brooding and stuff. I don't listen to it for the Hammerheart record. It's still a great album, don't get me wrong. It's deemed the very first Viking Metal album in the world, and I can't argue with that. I agree 100%. With the opening song, Shores in Flames, you straight away know what you're coming for. Like, you know what's about to happen. You know, it's an 11-minute song, and it's a really really good opener. Valhalla is a cool song too. Again, another long one, 9 minutes. But the first song from this album that I ever heard a few years ago when I was getting into Bathory, trying to discover like bits and pieces throughout their whole career, was Baptized in Fire and Ice. I thought that song was really cool, and still to this day is probably top 5 Bathory songs if you ask what my favorite songs were. But like, the whole vibe of the album is just it's obviously very Nordic. It's not as atmospheric as the Nordland albums. It's still crunchy and metal, but it just sinks a bit. The song To Haul Up High and for Home of Once Brave, they're good too. And unfortunately though, I don't actually enjoy One Road to Asa Bay. I do not like the vocal melody on it. I think it sounds very stale, and it's like he's trying to sing, but it's not being sung. Does that make sense? I don't find it very tuneful, and the fact that it's a 10-minute song was just like, hurry up and end. I just didn't like it. And so, yeah, unfortunately, Hammerheart falls quite low. Yeah, number 9. It's still a good album, and I would much rather listen to it than those previous 3. But yeah, for me, it sits here, number 9. Number 8 is the first of the Nordland saga, and that is Nordland 1. Yeah, I heard a few mixed things about this. I've watched videos of people claiming that this one is amazing and this one is great. I've heard videos where people don't like it. And it's not that I don't like it. It's just I think others are better. So I was super excited to get to these albums after coming off Requiem and Destroyer of Worlds. I was like, all right, cool, proper Norse godlike Viking music again. And for a better word, this Nordland one is a lot. It's very atmospheric and it's very, I want to say, almost theatrical. Like it's definitely concepty. It's got the same vibe throughout the whole album, and songs like Nordland, the first song, the second song technically. It's a 10-minute epic song. It's really really cool, and there are other songs like Dragon's Breath, which is like weirdly aggressive and it's like heavy and it's pretty metal in a way, and then you get Ring of Gold, which is like this calm, peaceful, acousticy folky song, and it's just really really nice, and Great Halls Await Fallen Brother, that's a cool song too. But like other than that, it's just sort of like a lot of it didn't like, it wasn't as memorable as I wanted it to be, and I was kind of annoyed because I was like, oh, I kind of had a lot of hope for this. So yeah, that's where Nordland 1 sits, number 8. It's a great album. They're all good minus the early stuff, the early entries of the ranking. But yeah, it's still good. I would listen to Nordland 1 again. I'd listen to this over Hammerheart any day. But yeah, it could have been better, I reckon. Number 8, Nordland 1. Number 7 is virtually, in a way, for me, the same album. Number 7 is Twilight of the Gods. Now, Twilight of the Gods is a perfect Viking album for those who really like the Nordic Viking stuff. To me it's a good album. It's good, but like it's pretty much in the same pool as Nordland 1. I keep using the same words, but it's very Nordic, it's atmospheric, and it's very chanty and choir-like and triumphant, and like, but not in a power metal triumphant kind of way. Twilight of the Gods, the song, these songs are really really cool. Twilight of the Gods, Through, Blood by Thunder, Blood and Iron, they're all really really cool. And yeah, they just have this grand, what do you call it, grand feeling about it that just makes it an epic album, to a point. Under the Ruins was cool, but my favorite one was definitely To Enter Your Mountain. I really really liked that. I thought the vocal melody on To Enter Your Mountain was awesome, and I found myself humming it once it was finished, and I was like, yep, would play that again. Hammerheart, the song, not my favorite, not a strongest way to end the album, but I mean, it's okay. Like I say, it's on par with Nordland 1. They kind of they're both in the same, yeah, they're both the same to me. So yeah, I'm going to put Twilight of the Gods at number 7. Number 6 is another Viking album, and when I found out about this album, I got super excited to get to it, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. Number 6 is Blood on Ice. Now, I've heard a lot of people, well, no, that's a lie. I've heard maybe a few people roast this, saying that it's not good, but I'm not one of those people. I genuinely got a huge kick out of listening to Blood on Ice, probably because of the fact that it is indeed a concept album. I love concept albums, and it sort of reminds me of a Rhapsody type thing, just obviously not as dramatic and theatrical, but like the story of the concept is awesome. It's just a lone traveler giving up, getting the wisdom from the gods in a very very small nutshell. But yeah, Blood on Ice, the song, so good. I really loved Man of Iron and One-Eyed Old Man. One-Eyed Old Man was fun. I thought it was really really cool, had some cool melodies in there. The Sword and the Stallion are awesome. The Lake, a bit like Into Your Mountain, when the lake finished, I was humming it for ages, Into the lake. I was just like, this is a cool song. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. And what's cool about this album is none of the songs are incredibly long. Like the longest one is like just under 7 minutes, and that's okay. I'm not opposed to long albums, just as long as they're good. Like, yeah. Gods of Thunder, of Wind and Rain. Mouthful of a title, but a great song to listen to. And I was beautifully touched by The Ravens. I thought The Ravens was a beautiful song. It's only a minute long, but I was just like, bro, that's so peaceful. Before you get kicked into the last song, The Revenge of the Blood on Ice, which is weirdly enough not my favorite. I read the concept and I was like, that last song has to be amazing and epic, but I remember feeling let down. That's the thing. When metal bands do epic things like this, they kind of, and if they don't have power metal cliches in them, then they lack certain things. But I was just like, I remember it ending and just thinking, God damn it. But still, aside from that, fantastic record. The middle songs, The Sword, the Stallion, the Lake, they're heavy, they're chunky, they're catchy. The melodies in them are awesome. The playing is great. The atmosphere is awesome. And just, yeah, a really cool album. Number 6, Blood on Ice. Top 5 now. Number 5 is an album that might shock you, but then the whole ranking might shock you, so I might as well stop saying it. Number 5 is Nordland II. Yeah, so when I heard people say that Nordland 1 was better, I was like, good God, Nordland 2 must be pretty boring if this is what Nordland 1 is. That was my, obviously, interpretation. But when I heard Nordland 2, I was completely blown away. I had the complete opposite reaction. I reckon Nordland 2 is freaking awesome. It's so much better than Nordland 1. The melodies that flow out through the entire album are so much more attractive and so much more appealing, and just it held my attention so much better than Nordland 1. Songs like Seawolf, I was just like, oh, this is cool. The melody in Seawolf was really, really cool. Vinland was awesome. It's definitely that's like the most Twilight of the Goddie type song, but it was really, really cool. Probably because there wasn't a whole album of it. So yeah, really cool. The Land was great. Death and Resurrection of a Northern Sun. There's that awesome melody part in it that I can hear in my head that can't put it to words, where it's just this really, really cool song. It starts heavy, and then it has that melody part, and then in the middle, out of nowhere, it goes into a like completely silent acoustic break, and then it gets heavy again at the end. Oh, so cool. The Messenger was a great song too, and the Wheel of Sun. Oh, honestly, these melodies held my attention and got me headbanging so much more than Nordland 1. I don't understand why people would put Nordland 1 above this. But yeah, that's my opinion. Nordland 2, number 5. Right, here we go. Number 4. This is what people probably most care about now, so let's just get straight into it. Number 4 is The Return. Yeah. So I haven't had much exposure to The Return. I've listened to it a couple of times, and I obviously listened to it again to do this ranking. But I mean, it still had the same effect on me. I was like, yes, it's a good album, but it's, to me, like, it's not amazing. It must just be a different era thing. I totally understand why people come out and say that this is the one to, like, this is the album of, like, that is the pure quintessential black metal album. I totally get it, why people say that. It's got all the check marks that a typical black album should need. The songs on it are scary. The songs on it are brooding and dark, and the tone is just wow. And it's like the vocals is just insane. The album cover is pretty black metal, but yeah, not my favorite of their little early career. So Total Destruction is a great song and a brilliant first song, if you don't count the intro. Born for Burning, really, really good stuff. Again, really, really cool, really, really heavy, and really, really dark. Be Still Lust, Possessed. Oh, Possessed is beyond, like, vocally, that's just insane. Reap of Evil, The Rite of Darkness, and even the title track, The Return of Darkness and Evil. They're all really good songs, and they're all really creepy and scary, so I totally get why it's a quintessential black metal album. But yeah, it's a great album, and I've got it. I do want to own it one day. I don't own it, but yeah, it's definitely not the first one that I'd pick out of the, golden era of black metal Bathory. But yeah, still really, really cool, and I've put it at number 4. So yeah, just get straight into it so I don't hold you suspense. Number 3 is Blood, Fire, Death. Now, this album is virtually perfect. There's so many awesomely cool little things about this album that make it godlike. So it's a perfect blend, I think, of black metal, and it's a perfect blend of Viking metal, but it's also weirdly, it also gives me an early power metal-y vibe in terms of, which is probably just because of the themes that the album is surrounded by. It's like, you know, it's all Norse to a point, and it's just like, it's real triumphant and stuff, and the tone, it's still raw. That's probably the black metal part about it. It's still pretty raw and edgy, but it still sounds amazing. So Odin's ride into Northland, very cool. A fine day to die. Whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter, because it's a fine day to die on this battlefield. Perfect. I want that on a shirt. It's a fine day to die. Just that. No other context. Pace Till Death. Sorry. Pace Till Death, which I'm pretty sure is that song that's got that mocking guitar little figure, little lick. Holocaust. Holocaust is a great song. I found that one when I was finding Baptized in Fire and Ice. The ending of that song, where he just shouts the word, and it's just like, whoa, okay, mate. It was just like, that's like the black metal part coming out of it. But oh my god, the title track, my guys, the title track, Blood, Fire, Death, this epic 10-minute album closer of, this is probably where the power metal comes in, this 10-minute epic closer of just war, and it's not the most black metal voice, so you can kind of understand it, and it's definitely got more of a Viking vibe, but it's like that epic power metal-y type of Viking, where it's just, the lyrics are just great. There's that gallop section in the middle. The ending is just, everything about that song is perfect. The reason Blood, Fire, Death is at number 3 is because of the title track itself. The title track is so much better than everything else that I've talked about tonight. You know, it's just, if you haven't heard Blood, Fire, Death, the song, please go listen to it. And if you like that song, then listen to the album Blood, Fire, Death. You will not be disappointed. Like I say, perfect blend of black and perfect blend of Viking put together. And it's just an epic creation of heavy metal. Honestly, so good. Blood, Fire, Death, number 3. Now, up till like 3 hours ago, I was pretty sure I was going to put this album here at number 1, but I gave the other one another listen, and it confirmed that no, the one I'm about to talk about has to go at number 2, and that is the shirt I'm wearing, Bathory's debut. I honestly thought this was going to be number 1 before I even started listening to the ranking, because, well, I listened to this album when I found Bathory. It's 26 minutes long, so I was like, that's not a long time. If it sucks, I feel like I haven't wasted a lot of time. But it doesn't suck. It's incredible. It's almost like an EP, but at the same time, it's not an EP. Bathory's debut album is the raw black metal with a tint of thrash thrown in, because obviously black metal at the time didn't really exist. Again, if you're interested in who came first, was it these guys or someone else, go watch that video. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. It's a fun record, regardless of what genre you think it belongs to. It's a fantastically fun album, because it's just, all the riffs are fun, all the songs are short and catchy and just awesome. Hades, Reaper, Necromancy, and Sacrifice. Side A is just incredible. I love Side A to death, really. Necromancy, Reaper, and Sacrifice are my top 3 favourite songs. Sacrifice is the top 1 favourite song. There's some awesome little guitar figures in that, and it's just an incredible album from start to finish. In Conspiracy with Satan, Armageddon, Raise the Dead, and War. Honestly, it's just a fantastic album. And like I say, it's literally 7 minutes long. So please go listen to it. If you're going to listen to half of it, I would go listen to Sacrifice and In Conspiracy with Satan, just to get that black metal influence. You know, it's such a good album, and it's so influential, it's not funny. And I just love it so much. It's just, honestly, top 5 greatest albums of all time, top 5 albums you need to own and know. Yeah. Number 2, Bathory. Which then comes to no surprise that number 1 is the epitome of black metal, is the epitome of everything scary. If you take the return and turn everything up, like by 10, you get Under the Sign of the Black Mark. Oh my god. You guys, listening to this album. I've always liked this album, but only like I listened to it recently and it hit me different. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I read the lyrics. I'm not sure, like, along with the album. But honestly, this album is like, it might not look like it, but this is the epitome of Bathory black metal right here. Honest to God, this is the greatest Bathory album of all time. It starts off with some ambience. Of course it does. But aside from that, Massacre, holy damn. The song Massacre is just, it's pretty much a blitzkrieg of 3-minute black metal. Women of Dark Desires and, well, Women of Dark Desires is a song that they finally wrote about Elizabeth Bathory, the Countess, you know, evil lady. Call from the Grave. Oh my God. Have you listened to Call from the Grave? Have you listened to the vocals? The vocals on this album are what make it as scary as it is. The vocals sound like what every black metal band thinks they sound like, or they want to sound like. The Call from the Grave vocals are just, eerie and evil and scary, and lyrics, well, from that song anyway, Call from the Grave, the lyrics are just creepy and evil. Requiem as well, that's just like this crazy, I don't know how he sings that song, because it's so fast, it's so hard to read the lyrics. So the way he does it with his black metal voice is just like, okay. Enter the Eternal Fire, a song about being taken into hell and greeted by Satan. It's more slower, it's more mid-tempo. You could say it's like the epic, but it's still, it's only 6 minutes, but it's still so epic and just wow. Honestly, so scary and evil. Chariots of Fire, another, quick sung blitzkrieg of black metal. 13 Candles is about a child being born, Satan's child being born. And Of Doom. I just found out that Of Doom is pretty much like a love letter from Cawthon, from Bathory, to us, the fans. So if you read the whole thing, Under the Sign of the Black Mark and Of Doom, it's sort of where it comes from. But yeah, really fantastic album. I can't recommend this album enough. Under the Sign of the Black Mark. It had its anniversary recently, May 11. Honestly, I can't recommend this album enough. Literally, what puts this album on top? It's just the production is it's stepped up from the return. Obviously, the vocals, he's perfected his black metal vocal performance now, and it's just absolutely perfect. I love this record so much. Under the Sign of the Black Mark, #1. Awesome as team. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I sit here and discuss Bathory's entire discography. Like I said at the start, let me know what your favorites are, what your favorites aren't, and let's just get a flow going, a conversation. It's always cool to see who likes what and why they hate that. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm not entirely sure what the next one will be. I never do. But hey, until that comes out, just remember, guys, stay inside, stay safe, wash your hands, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya.